everyone. Hello, my little dyslexia community. Norda is here and welcome a new episode of Real Talk with Norda. Today, my dear guest is Mrs. Holli. She is 45 years old from United States, an artist and a hairstylist, and she is dyslexic too. She never had proper diagnostic when she was a kid, and she didn't even know what dyslexia was. And now she is very educated in dyslexia, and it's very clear to her she is 100% dyslexic. She struggled her entire life with reading and had a tutor after tutor, but no one could help her. Her parents tried to support her by putting her in private school with lots of tutors, and it was constant struggle, always staying after school to help with teachers. Her hobbies are painting, photography, cooking, and basically everything creative. Her future plans are to do whatever she can to make sure her boys got everything they need in life to be happy and successful. When she achieved that, she plans to paint a lot, do lots of traveling, and sitting on white sanded beaches with the clearest ocean water and fruity cocktail in her hands. Really good plans for the future. Thank you so much for being here, Mrs. Holli.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Are you ready for my questions? And are you ready for Real Talk with Norda?
Yes, I am. I can't wait.
Great. My first question for you is, what kind of difficulties did you had through school and with your dyslexia?
It was difficult really from kindergarten all the way through college. Reading, I would read, and it was such a struggle. And at that time, no one knew what dyslexia was, at least not where I was in school and everything. And that was really difficult. And when I ever would read, I wouldn't retain what I read. And it just was a constant struggle. Tutors, it's like nothing worked. So.
Yes, and like my next question is, what kind of accommodations did you get? But you wasn't diagnosed in school, so you didn't get like proper accommodation. Yes.
No, it was like my parents would. I went from private school to private school to private school. I think they thought that was the answer, and it really wasn't. I think it made it worse just because there was really no accommodations at that time at the private school. So it just was struggle after struggle.
Yes, yes. And could you tell me, did you struggle with your mental health?
Definitely. It can wear on you when you're looking at all your friends and you know that you're just as smart as they are. I remember being in college, staying up all night with everybody else, and they would do great on their exams, and it was just, I bombed them all. And you just I started to feel really like helpless and dumb. And I ended up actually dropping out of college and pursuing, I was always way more creative anyway, but I remember just thinking, why can't, I'm bombing every test and all, just to see your peers like doing so much better, knowing that you worked harder, and it just was always such a struggle.
Yes, and how do you stay motivated with your struggles and everything?
Well, I think it was a sigh of relief when I really realized, through this journey with my son,
mm-hmm.
It was like looking in the mirror, and I was like, oh my God, all this time, this is what I had. I mean, it was like a huge light bulb. And, and I started to realize, whenever he needs to read something, he'll do Audible. So I started doing Audible books, and it was like, I would retain it or see pictures, and I would remember those pictures more than anything else. So I think, that was a big sigh of relief for me and him.
Yes, audiobooks are really good, and in Croatia we don't have much of audiobooks, but we have some. So I also use audiobooks, and I really like them. And could you tell me, what do you think? Why such a negative perception around dyslexia in our society?
I think it's just a lack of a lot of people not truly understanding it. I mean, I'm blown away by the teachers that I've talked to that think they understand it, and they have absolutely no idea. I mean, I distinctly remember, through this journey with Colt, this one teacher said to me, well, there's always trade school. Like, trade school is something that, he could look into that. He just, there's kids that don't have to go to college like him. And I just sat back and I'm like, you have no idea, what dyslexia is, or, anything about it. You don't make assumptions on children or adults, I mean,
Yes.
I think it's just such a lack of education. And that's something that I really want to try to help, change, because I see so many kids and adults, suffering because of it, because of the lack of education from everybody. They just don't get it, but they think they do.
Yes, when I speak like with so many dyslexics around the world, and in most of countries, situation is same. Like, people don't understand dyslexia, and it's really hard to talk about dyslexia because people always think when you struggle with reading, you're stupid, because for them reading is easier. For me, it's not. And
yeah.
yes,
and that blows my mind. That blows my mind. And
yes.
I mean, you get stuck in these, I see them because they did it to my son. You get stuck in these classes that they don't belong in. And it's just to kind of push them away because, they can't help them. It's just, it blows my mind that
Yes. And could you tell me, what do you think we as dyslexia community, what we need to do to change that negative perception around dyslexia?
Well, I think doing things like you're doing, I think just putting it out there, and, and being open to questions, and getting people on, that are in the dyslexic community, and coming together and really trying to make a difference and educate people. I think, what you're doing is amazing. I mean,
thank you so much.
I mean that from the bottom of my heart. It just makes people like me, other parents that have kids with dyslexia, feel like there's answers and hope, and, and I think that's huge.
Thank you, really. That's like motivate me to just keep going and keep writing about dyslexia. Thank you so much. And you are a hairstylist, and I really want to know what kind of influence dyslexia has on your job.
Well, don't judge me right now, because we've been at the beach all day, so I don't really look like this, but I would say just the creativity. Like, my brain is such a creative brain. And I think that was something that I struggled with in college. I'm like, the minute I got my hands on a paintbrush, or, I just think just seeing I already know what it's going to look like before it's done. And I just, the creativity of it all, it fills my soul. So I think that that's just kind of like, and I've done it for 24 years. And I just think, I don't know, I think we have really creative brains, and I think it's super cool. I just kind of, I don't know, the formulas of color is just like, it's very it's a lot harder than you would think if you do it right. So
yes. And could you tell me, could you share with me, do you have some dyslexia strategies in organization or something like this? Could you share with us your dyslexia tips and tricks?
Yes, I'm not organized, but I will say that is definitely not,
I'm trying. I'm
trying too, but I have found, if I am a little ADD too. So if I have a schedule, that really helps me. And honestly, with the whole reading, I think what's helped me, I write a lot of things down, because I think just writing it and looking at it and saying it out loud seems to kind of make it stick better. And if I read a book, I'll listen to the audio and try to follow it. It's like the stress is taken away from reading it. I'll listen to the book and follow it, and it seems to kind of, I remember it more.
Yes, audiobooks are great. And could you tell me, do you have positive or negative attitudes towards dyslexia?
In my younger years, I think it was more negative, because I just wasn't educated about it. It was really bad, and you start to feel it affects your self-esteem, and it can be depressing sometimes. Then once I understood what it was, I started to really appreciate that I'm not like everybody else. You know, I don't want to fit in a little box that everybody tries to put you in. And I think that was kind of, you know, I just kind of owned everything about it. Like, you know, like the creativity and stuff like that. I think just own who you are. You know, it doesn't have to be, I was telling my son, I'm like, it doesn't have to be all about school. Yes, school's important, but you have a whole world out there. Like, own who you are.
Yes, and that is really beautiful said. And could you tell me your dyslexia strengths and your dyslexia weaknesses?
Okay. Well, weaknesses, definitely studying and retaining things and reading. I would say strengths, you know, I think I look at things kind of big picture, you know, I think I'll see things that other people don't see sometimes. And I think that's kind of cool. And I'm pretty intuitive. And I like to think that might be from dyslexia. I don't know, but I would say that.
Yes, great. And my last question for you is, could you share with us like your message to our dyslexic community? What do you think? What is the most important thing for us dyslexics?
I think it comes back to just owning who you are. You know, be proud of your differences and you know, let people know about them. And I just think it's really important to just accept who you are and then and own it. You know, I think, you know, really like whatever strengths you have, like pursue those. And I think that's just really important.
Yes, and thank you so much for this beautiful message to our community. And thank you so much for sharing your dyslexia story with our dyslexia community and me. And I'm really happy because today I had really two extraordinary people on my Real Talk with Norda. And you did great job with Colt and supporting him. Like, that is a really big deal. And thank you so much for being here. And I wish you lots of success in future. And I hope that your plans will come true. And at the end, that you will be on white sanded beach.
You can come meet me for a cocktail.
Of course. I'm coming.
Yes, we'll play that.
Of course I will. And I really wish you all the best and thank you so much.
Well, listen, thank you. I mean, we have been following you for like, how long has it been? Like 2 years, I feel like.
Yes. Yes.
And you just really get, you know, I think you really get to, I felt like I've known you this whole time. I'm just so thankful for you and everything you're doing. It just warms my heart. Like you're really making a difference. And
thank you so much.
It really means a lot to a lot of people.
Thank you. And thank you to my dyslexic community for watching this beautiful interview with both of those beautiful people. And don't forget to watch other Real Talk with Norda and just keep going and stay positive. Until next time. Bye.